Dr. C.V. Anand Bose is one-man expert commission on labor to prepare an action plan for the welfare and development of the workforce in the context of COVID-19. He is also the principal advisor, Government of India Heritage Project. He was the principal secretary, Animal Husbandry, Forest, Environment and Wildlife. He was the chairman of Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, SPCA. He has authored 40 books in English, Malayalam and Hindi, including novels, short stories and essays. 4 of his books have become bestsellers. Dr. Bose is an housing expert, innovator, writer, orator and visionary. The path-breaking institutions set up by him, such as Nimriti Kendra, Building Center, District Tourism Council and Habitat Alliance have been replicated at the state, national and global level. He was head of the prestigious Supreme Court Committee on the Treasures of Sri Padmanabha Swami Temple. Dr. Bose addressed United Nations General Assembly and specialized sessions 5 times on various international issues. Dr. Bose is a recipient of 31 national and international awards, including United Nations Global Best Practice Award. He has also received prestigious Jawaharlal Nehru Fellowship. Kerala government termed him Lord of Ideas. Former Prime Minister Mr. Manmohan Singh called him inspired civil servant. And our Honorable Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi called him Man of Ideas. Welcome Dr. Bose to our show. Dr. Bose, you have heard what Mrs. Menka Sanjay Gandhi expressed her views. According to her, the frustration of the lockdown, the people are taking out on the animals, on the birds, and which is very unfortunate. According to her, one animal is dying every day through the poison. The RWAs, the Residents Welfare Associations of the societies, they are banning the feeding of the animals or the birds. Now, when this is the situation, how the animals can survive, and you have worked in a very, very important offices during your tenure. You were the chairman of this SPCA. So now we would like to know from you the COVID-19 impact on animals. Dr. C.V. Anand Bose, please.
Yeah, I was listening with interest what Mrs. Gandhi had to say. But I would like to go on a more optimistic and positive plane. It is said that there are animals among men, but not men among animals. This, I think, is a very unfair assessment of the animal kingdom. Because as we know, we have a tradition of respecting the animal world. We always see the umbilical relation between animals and men. In fact, if I may go to our mythology, there is an incident where the king of the Devas, Devendra, he was routed in battle by his opponents, the Asuras. As he was fleeing the battlefield, he asked his other Devas to stop their horses, because in front of him, precariously hanging on a tree, he saw a bird's nest. Devendra knew in the impact and the vibration caused by the advancing army, that bird's nest will fall down and the young ones will die. So he asked the Devas to stop and go about turn. Now, seeing the Devas coming back, the Asuras thought they are coming with a bigger army, determined to fight. So the Asuras run away from there. This is the importance which we are giving to birds, bees, and butterflies. We have a tradition of teaching our children how to respect the cow, how to respect the dog, how to respect the cat. The cat and the dog are treated as members of the family. So I think India has a tradition which we lost somewhere. Again, I would say, because of our exposure to the West, we lost certain values which we had cherished. In fact, even some of the values have even been ridiculed when it comes to animal protection. Now, I think Mrs. Gandhi was saying that government is not doing anything for animal protection. I totally disagree with her. Totally disagree with her. Because this is being watched by millions of people. I agree. I respect her right to say what she wants. Like Voltaire, I may not agree with you, but I will defend your right to say so. Yes, that are the two things I would like correction to be made, either here or by those who listen to this. I have read it in so many places, including scientific journals, that animals have been affected by COVID. In the Bronx Zoo, 3 tigers and 2 lions have been checked, and it has been established that they had COVID. And some cats and dogs here and there, of course. But the WHO has given a clarification that animals are not carriers of this. Yes. This disease is not spread by animals. It is from man to animal, not the other way around. Therefore, if you say it is brutish, brutes will disagree with you. Then second thing is that, since it was stated here, I am not for a debate on this. Certainly, I underline certainly, the family tradition has come back. Even if people are sitting in the same house and watching television, they are together. That togetherness has come back. The family feeling has come back. Yes, crime has increased. When domestic violence has, that does not mean I do not want to be a prophet of doom. The plus points will see us plus points, and I do share her concern on animals. I was also in the field of animal protection. Animals have to be protected. There are legislation for that. There are protocols for that. Don't say that everything is not implemented. Say there is tardiness in the implementation. That I agree. Whenever government implements something, there is a lack of commitment from some of the officers. Therefore, there is tardiness in the implementation. I do agree with her. But let us not forget that in this country in 1960, there is an act. There is an act to prevent cruelty to animals. In that act, animal protection is given priority. Ways and means are also implemented. The Constitution of India. If you respect the Constitution of India, Article 51A of the Constitution lays down that people should look after the animals and violence against animals is decried. It is your duty, according to Article 51A of the Constitution, to protect nature and also be compassionate. The word used is compassionate. Yes, our founding fathers had the vision. Now, if I say nothing is happening here, I am running down the wisdom of the founding fathers. No, I am not ready for that. Fact is a fact. I think if you hold a meeting or a further discussion on the family and the positive aspects of COVID, I can justify that the family relation is coming up, and also the love of animals. I have seen in the streets of Delhi, people coming forward to feed animals. Yes, human nature has compassion in that. We have to develop that compassion. And now coming to, in 2008, incidentally, I also happened to head the disaster management outfit of the government of India. I happened to be the Central Drought Relief Commissioner, also in charge of the other disasters. There, it is clearly stated that the state has a responsibility to look after the animals during crisis, during disasters, before, during, and after the crisis. Feeding centers have to be opened. It's not that animal can be left alone. You know, this is a country where 68% of the land mass, 68% of the land mass is prone to drought, 60% to earthquake, 12% of the land mass prone to floods, 8% to cyclone. Naturally, almost 85% of the country is prone to one disaster or the other. And we have around 20 crores of domestic animals in this country, and 3.5 crores of stray cattle and stray dogs, which is much more than the population of some of the countries. Mm-hmm. It is 10 times the population of Meghalaya, with which I am also associated now. Yeah. So that is a very stupendous problem that is before us. When we look at it, there are legislation, there are guidelines which stipulate the government's duty to protect the animals during and after the crisis. Feeding centers are required. Feed price after the crisis. Feed price has to be stabilized. Otherwise, the farmer will be forced to sell animals to feed the other animals. There are legislation. This is a civilized country. We have a sensitivity to the animals. But every system is not working well. I do agree. I do agree with her. System is not working well. But we do have a system. We have a sensitivity about animals. We have put in place legislation. More legislation is required. You know, recently it was reported that 12 MPs have joined together, including a minister, asking the government to bring in legislation to increase the fine on atrocities to animals. Now, up to 5 years, even imprisonment can be given, but it's not implemented properly. I do agree. We have a positive attitude. We love our animals. We have systems to take care of the animals, but it is not enough. Certainly, there is room for improvement. As I said, the biggest room is room for improvement. Therefore, and there is a lot of international agencies. International agencies for the protection of animals are there. They are all working together. And civil service, civil CSOs, civil society organizations, NGOs, they are all active there. And COVID has demonstrated that India has a mind which is sensitive to the animals. Of course, there are people who do atrocities. The criminals are to be punished. The criminals are to be, but we should not mix the criminals and the animal lovers. There are animal lovers, the new generation, for instance, represented by youngsters like Sanjana John. See, there are new generation which loves the animal, which has put in place systems which work. And the resident societies, I have seen in my own experience, there are resident societies who join together to feed the animals. And the Supreme Court and the High Court, the High Courts are coming in support of this. I think we are poised on a platform where India will also be known for its love of animals. Certainly the guilty is to be punished, but not the entire society. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bose, for giving your forceful impact on the animals. You have given your views, and you have mentioned very clearly that you agree, but you disagree on 2 points with Mrs. Maneka Gandhi. First was about the family values, according to you, according to Dr. Bose, the family values have increased due to the lockdown. People were sitting together. They were in the house only. So it's not like this that the family values have gone down. Yes, there are cases about the domestic violence and the animal beating, but that is not that if we have to see the positivity, that is not that much what the positivity has come. And secondly, Dr. Bose says that he also disagreed. The government is not doing anything. The government has done lots of things. There are lots of legislations. There are very clear-cut guidelines how to do it during this type of crisis. Because Dr. Bose, who was also the commissioner of the disaster management, he says at that time also it is very clearly written in the disaster situation that the state government is responsible for the feeding of the animals during or before after the disaster. So it is very clear, mainly mentioned. So it is not the correct thing to blame the government only. Yes, we are a compassionate society. We have love for our animals. We are doing that. And the government is also doing, but there's lot lacunas are there. Implementation is not proper, but to blame the entire society is not correct. But he says, yes, he agrees that we all should do our duty towards the animal. And he gives the credits to the young generation. He says the young generation is now is animal lovers. They are placing many things in a new way so that the animals will not suffer. So according to Dr. Bose, the society is there to feed. And he says, yes, I have seen his own experience, according to Dr. Bose, that the people are coming outside and feeding the animals timely and again. Although Mrs. Maneka Gandhi's grudge against the government was that they are not feeding even the Gaushalas, and that's why she was venting her, expressing her views about that. But I'm sure that the views, if we will see, of Mrs. Gandhi as well as Dr. Bose, they are very clear that we all should, the civil society should come up. Why only to leave on the government? We should have, this is our responsibility. After all, they are protecting us. As Mrs. Maneka Gandhi mentioned, that we are depending on the animals. Animals are not depending on us. So when we are depending on them, we should treat them as our own family, as our own children. Now I would like to go. Thank you, Dr. Bose, for giving your such a forceful views about the the impact of animal during this COVID-19. Now I would like to go to our next guest. As Dr. Bose has mentioned that she's representing the young generation. So she is none other than Dr. Sanjana John. Dr. John is a social and animal activist. She's a renowned international fashion designer and youth icon. She received her honorary doctorate degree from King's University, USA. Her acclaimed debut was at Cannes for the film festival, supported by Prince Albert of Monaco, Princess Soraya, Princess Sarah Ali Saud, Princess Olivia de Bourbon, and more. This led to the New York Fashion Week debut and Vancouver Fashion Week, where she won International Rising Star Award. Fashion with Heart has been propagated by her, where every show or event supports a charity or cause. Sanjana John has been a socially motivated person since her school and college days, used to provide food and clothing to the underprivileged kids and read for the blind students. She set up a special sanctuary with more than 100 tigers in Florida, and a special campaign was organized to save tigers and animals globally. She adopted and supports more than 350 street dogs. Pause for Styles, where celebs walked with the pets, was again highlighted and supported by Miss Sanjana to create love for animals. Donald Trump, Ivanka Trump, Tiffany Trump, Marla Maples, Vanessa Trump, Melania Trump's Paris and Nikki Hilton, Amanda and Lydia Hearst, Lauren Bush, and more than 11 reigning Miss Universe have worked on projects and shows with Miss Sanjana John. She tied up with United Nations and held a press conference in the New York headquarters. In India, she worked with CARE International in hopes of in a united front to combat the increased pandemic of AIDS. Fashions to Sanjana is not the end, but the means to the end, which is to make the world a better place filled with love and light. She organized a show for Save the Girl Child against female infanticide with 16 celebrity siblings, including Salman Khan, Sohail Khan, Sushmita Sen, Rajiv Sen, Ria and Raima Sen, Sajid and Wajid Khan. She is a member of Censor Board. She is a chairwoman of Friends for Good Health USA. She is winner of innumerable awards, including Karamveer Puruskar, Paramveer Award, Indira Gandhi Priyadarshini Award, 2 Rajiv Gandhi Excellence Awards, Hall of Fame, 2014 IMM JJ Award for Excellence, International Humanitarian Award, Param Shri Universal Humanity Award, Dada Saheb Phalke International Film Festival Award, Stardust Global Icon Award at the Plaza New York, Stardust Global Achievers Award at St. Dubai International Women of the Courage Award 2070, to name a few. If I will read all, I think again the same thing which I told about Mrs. Menka Gandhi. You three, all the three our guests, Mrs. Menka Gandhi, Dr. C.V. Anand Bose, and Dr. Sanjana John, they have such a big CV, it takes hours to read. Anyway, now you have heard Dr. John about what Mrs. Menka Gandhi said. You have also heard Dr. Bose. Although Dr. Bose differ on 2 counts with Mrs. Gandhi, but one message is very clear, that the civil society should come forward and do their best to see to it that the animals or the birds should be fed properly. They should be taken care, whether they are pet or whether they are stray dogs. But we would like to know from you the COVID-19 impact on animals. Dr. Sanjana John, please.
Thank you, Goelji. It's a pleasure being on your show. And thank you, Dr. Bose. Thank you for having me on this, because I got to hear and learn from both of you. It's an inspiration, actually. I worked extensively with the projects Maneka Gandhi ji has done, and I've seen the kind of work Dr. Bose does. And both are people with immense, not just the strength, but also they are people who implement things. And like we heard from both, though there are laws, though there are a lot of aspects in our country, there is a need to implement certain things which could be lacking in certain areas. We are led by a great humanitarian Prime Minister. Our Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji actually leads by example. At the beginning of COVID, when the pandemic started, he actually mentioned and clearly promoted and propagated feeding of animals. He said there should be no living being left without food or care. And in fact, it was amazing how everybody took that up, and a lot of youth, as mentioned by both fellow panelists, they mentioned that the youth and a lot of women did come up to support, feed, care, and take care of the animals. But sadly, like Vaneka ji said, there were, and in fact, I myself have called her during several instances, because we were feeding more than 1,000 street animals per day. A lot of feeders had to stop during that time. Like she mentioned, there were acts of violence even against the feeders. And even some of the local politicos had created a lot of ruckus, killing street dogs out here where I am in Gurugram. And we had to call Maneka ji, and she took immediate action to help, support, and make sure that things were in control. So it's a balance. And though we have so many people, don't forget, we are a large nation with almost 3 billion people. So we have a lot of good, but we do have certain elements of let's say, of nastiness, who do not care, who do not support, nor do they value life, not just animal life, human life as well. So we can't take those instances to look at the overall system that prevails. And like Dr. Bose very rightly said, this was a time for family and people to actually come back together. There could be instances again of domestic violence, but that they have been there. But to a lot of families who never ever got the time to spend time with children, because I've been doing a lot of shows and webinars, I saw one thing. Children came up and said this was probably the best time where they actually got to spend time with their parents, which they never did before. So it was a good time for children where they got to cherish and also learn from their parents. Going to the next step, like Maneka ji said, animals have been taken care of by certain let's say, groups within the society. Government has also in a lot of ways helped, supported, and there are bodies that you can turn out to, reach out to, but it could be more. Because keep in mind, again, there are a lot of regions where there were people abandoning pets, because at the start of the pandemic, people started thinking that this could be transmitted through animals. This was a serious concern, where we saw a lot of pet animals being abandoned on the street, and we were trying to make them understand. And again, Maneka ji was kind enough to start a campaign, and we did a campaign which was really brilliant. We got a lot of celebrities to come up and speak on this. So from Ravina Tandon to Olia Vanter to a lot of the singers, we had around 30, 40 celebrities coming and telling people that please do not abandon your pets. And like Dr. Bose rightfully said, it is not transmitted from animals to humans. So please keep that in mind and don't rush to, throw them on the streets, which did happen. Again, coming to the part where we don't know how many people were abusing animals, but we've seen animal abuse before, and that is something which should stringently and I would say effectively be curbed by the legal system, because people cannot. And we saw incidents where the feeders were being abused, even attacked. And even here where I am, there's a constantly there is tension, there is pressure, and a lot of the people do not want. And every time there is a litter, a puppy litter, the first thing is for them to go actually poison the litter, and we've had to go to the cops, we've had to make calls. So this is a constant issue that we do face. And as much as we would like to say, like Dr. Bose said very clearly, from mythology to our culture, very clearly talks about respecting, not just valuing, worshipping. We have seen in the temples, if you look, Lord Bhairava, his Vahan is a dog. If you look at Sai Baba, if you look at, Dattatreya Bhagwan, you see dogs as an integral part. Even in the Mahabharata, when you speak about, the Pandavas going to Kailash, at the end, they say it was a dog that actually reached Mount Kailash with Yudhishthira. So it's important for us to understand this is not something that we can just practically and matter of fact look at it and say which is important. Yes, if they're not there, they will actually there will be a huge surge in rats which can lead to plague. But if you're a person who values your culture, your heritage, your even your religion, don't forget that they are a big part of India and our culture, and not to say the most of humanity. Be a good human being. They have the right to live as much as we do. And to say that it's only a man-infested world and let's get rid of all the animals and it's only there for the purposes to feed you or to keep you entertained. No, they have the right to live. And as a good human being, we should value them and we should treat them with integrity, respect. If not, even if you don't treat them with that, please do not disrespect or harm them. I would go on that note.
And thank you, Dr. Joan, for giving your views. And she says she agree with Mrs. Gandhi up to an extent, but what she says that it is the human nature that what we are doing something which is not correct many times, because it is not that people are not coming and feeding the animals, they are doing it, but few of them, those who have a different type of mind setup, they are only creating the problem. And she says that the first day when the lockdown was started, our honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, mentioned very clearly that please feed everyone, all the living beings should be fed. And it is very clear message that everyone, whosoever, has to take care of the animals. And she says that there are so many instances. She even mentioned then when we talk about religion, our religions are very clear that in the religion, the dogs or the animals were giving very much importance. Yes, we all know that even nowadays Ganpati festival is on, and we know that our Lord Ganesha's the vehicle was the mushak, that rat. So when we are praying to the God, we are doing the religion, but when coming to the animal, we are not ready to think about that. That is not correct. And according to her, it is a time that we should change our mindset. And she says that they are doing lots of work. She has, along with the celebrities, 30 celebrities, where the singers and all others, they have come together and they are creating the awareness. They are appealing to people not to, just to feed them, not to harm them. They should not be unkind to the animals. And she says that they are doing lots of work. Many times it happens that even they have to make the police complaint. If the police is not listening, she said that she has even spoken to Mrs. Menka Gandhi, and then the things were right. And she said what Dr. Bose has said is also very clearly understand that the family values have increased. She says that because of this lockdown period, the children are enjoying the most, and they says that the best time of their life because they have to spend the time with their family, with their parents, with their grandparents. So she is very clear in 2 points. That first thing is that our family values have increased, but the secondly is that civil society should come forward and give good, they should not disrespect. If they can't respect the animals, they should not disrespect the animals, as what Dr. Sanjana John says. Thank you, Dr. Sanjana John, for saying this. Is it okay now? I think some... Now, I think some technical problem. Is it okay now? Okay. So now my question thank you, Dr. John, for giving your views about the animal welfare. And now I would like to go to Dr. Bose. Dr. Bose, everybody spoke about mm, uh, the the legal provisions, and they said that Mrs. Menka Gandhi mentioned that the government is not doing sufficiently. You mentioned no government is doing in the legal framework. Some few officers or somebody who is not doing it purposely, that is a different thing, but the laws are there. Now, my question to you is, what are the legal provisions in support of animals in India? Do you think they are sufficient and effective, or we require more improvement in that? Dr. C.V. Anand Bose, please.
First of all, I feel really inspired by the thinking of the new generation as reflected by Sanjana here. I think this generation will certainly see to it that whatever deficiencies are there in the legal system or the policy framework will certainly be set right. I wish them the very best. Now, what we have today are a few pieces of legislation. First of all, we have the Constitution, as I said, which enjoins upon every citizen to protect nature and be compassionate to animals. That is a seminal piece of legislation in this country. Then we have the disaster management, the Indian Epidemic Act, old act of 1897, very old. Then we have the 1960 legislation. That is a major consolidated legislation which deals with the prevention of cruelty to animals. Then we of course have the Indian Penal Code. There are provisions which protect the interests of the animals there also. More than these legislations, I would see it is a guidelines issued by the government of India on disaster management. Their separate section has been given for the protection of animals. For instance, when there is a flood, even if it is a flash flood, the minimum that is expected of you is to take the animals off the tethers, because most animals are good swimmers. At least they will be able to protect their lives. But even that is not being observed. See, the Kerala floods last time, though of course the fishermen came forward and saved the lives of thousands of people, but the society was not particularly sensitive about its animals. You know, more than 1 lakh cattle die in this country because of floods, more than 1 lakh. And you know, this not only causes loss of life for the animals, it also causes loss of livelihood for the farmers. Some farmers, the National Disaster Response Force, their chief was once telling me, some of the farmers refuse to be evacuated unless their cattle is also evacuated. Because for the farmer, the cattle is part of his life. And one farmer asked, why should I harm my life if I lose my livelihood? And many of them love the animals like their children. So there are provisions. Your question is the legislation. There are legislative support. There are governmental guidelines. There are. But as I earlier said, see, like the Dutch custom of drinking in Shakespeare, more honored in the breach than the observance. Many of these legislations are more honored in the breach than in the observance. That is where the problem lies. Now, we have to strengthen the legislation also, because the fine which is imposed for atrocities against animals is very, very minimal, a laughable, negligible amount. That has to be increased. Imprisonment also has to be, of course, there is a provision for imprisonment up to five years, but these are all seldom being implemented. I think what is required is perhaps more than the legislation. See, this is a social change. Every civilization is judged by the way it treats its animals. That is the basis of benchmark. See, we have to have a social change, and social change cannot come through legislation. Social change requires awareness creation in society. That is what these youngsters are doing. such a change is certainly required. See, since hatred against animals begins in the minds of men, it is in the minds of men that defenses against it are to be built. That affinity to animals, that animal and man are part of nature, that has seeped down into the psyche of the younger generation. Fortunately, it is coming there like that. I think more than legislation, of course, implementation has to improve. More than the implementation, the social change has to take place. I think it is the mental process which is required. Sensitize society, make them sensitive to the feelings of animals. Now, do you think animals have no sensitivity? Do you think men alone have sensibility? No. There is the recorded case, in Venice, as you go for the walking tour in Venice, in front of one of the houses, which is a mansion occupied by the city magistrate. There is a story which a guide told me. A young clerk who got recently married, he went to the palatial house of the city magistrate and told him, please give me some increase in salary. The city magistrate humiliated him, foo-fooed him, and then with the tears in his eyes, this young clerk was coming back. He had also his dog also with him, the pet dog. The dog was listening to this conversation. We think that they are mute creatures, they cannot express. As they came out, there is a table on which the costly curios are placed by the city magistrate to show off. All these curios are kept on a satin cloth. This dog just gave one pull on the satin cloth, the whole curio fell down. See, can you say that dog doesn't have sensitivity? And now Lord Lichfield, in Lord Lichfield's room, there is a painting, the Lord remaining with a dog. Underneath it is written, more loyal than the servant. Once the dog was making a hue and cry. It wanted to get inside the bedroom of the Lord. Lord did not allow that. But it kept on beating at the door, and somehow the Lord thought, okay, let him sleep in my room. Midnight, the Lord hears a scuffle. He sees the dog pouncing upon an intruder. That was his own servant. That intruder had a knife in his hand. The dog overpowered him. So the dog had a hunch. This is going to happen. So let us not say every dog has a day, as if the dog is a lesser being, Yes, Sanjay has given a beautiful interpretation. Every dog has his day. If the dog is the dog which accompanied Yudhishthira to heaven, that is the type of dog. What does a dog indicate? A dog means faith. A dog means affection. A dog means steadfast loyalty. Now, if you call your dog, I think it should be a compliment. Yes, legislation is there. Legislation should be strengthened. Implementation should be strengthened. But a social change has to come. And these are not tales. These are not old wise tales which we hear about the stories about dogs. Animals also have got a sensitivity. Try to understand that. And even try to emulate that. See, we all run down to donkey. Don't you think that the donkey is such a noble creature? It carries all the load on itself for others, not for them, for others. Therefore, let us try to inculcate the love of animals through the curriculum. Children should be taught to love animals. And when those children come as administrators, as MPs, MLAs, or ministers, then you will find there will not be any dichotomy between the legislation and its implementation. Hats off to the new generation. I am sure India will be known as the best country in the world in animal love when this younger generation comes to power. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bose. According to Dr. Bose, very clearly he says that there are lots of legislations in place right from the 18th century to now in the 1960 and the recent also. But he says that sometimes the implementation is not that great. But it doesn't mean that legislations are not there. Legislations are there. And it is the responsibility of the civil society that we should also take this legislation seriously and try to implement the things for the welfare of animal. But he says this, yes, there are few legislations which are very weak. The fines or the punishment is very less. It should be more stringent. But he also gave an example that whenever there is a disaster, many villagers, their love to the animals are so that they says, no, we will not evacuate ourselves unless our animals will be also go. And he says that this shows that we have so much love for the animals. And he has also mentioned that the young generation, which is now taking full care of the animals, they are also, this shows that the future of the India is very bright, and one day will come, the day will come when the India will be known as the animal lover country. And he has given some examples of the foreign countries where even the animals were not treated properly, they have shown their angerness or their concern. So according to Dr. Bose, the animals are very sensitive. We should not think that they are not listening. They are doing so much work for us. Even he has said that the donkeys, which we treat them in a very bad way, we should understand they are doing the work for others, not for themselves. And according to him, this love about the animals or the benefits of animals, we should add in our curriculum, so the child from the very beginning should learn, and when they will become the IAS, IPS, or the minister or MPs, MLAs, when they will be, then they know the what is the advantages of the animals, and then they will definitely treat them in that way. Thank you, Dr. Bose, for giving your views. Now my question to you, Dr. Sanjana John, you are shunting between US and India very frequently, and you are, in your CV it is mentioned that you have a tiger farm and you have a dogs also there. Now in USA or other countries, to keep pets, many pets are allowed, many animals are allowed. Even pythons they are keeping in USA, the tigers as you have mentioned. But in India, only few pets are allowed, like cat or the dogs, very few. So do you think, according to you, do you think that the government of India should also allow these types of pets, so that the love, because the young generation, as Dr. Bose has mentioned, they are very much in this. And I have seen myself when I went to USA, that many of the houses, they are keeping many types of creatures in their house with full love. So do you think that if government will allow other creatures to be under the pet scheme, then definitely our love to the animals will increase, and then the cruelty towards animal will decrease? Dr. Sanjana John, please.
Thank you, Gulji. I would like to take up the point that Dr. Bose mentioned. Inculcating values in the young, that is definitely the most important thing. It should be part of the curriculum, because if kids realize that they are also creatures that you love and care for, it makes a huge difference. And as he so rightfully put, that mindset from childhood, when it's there, when they grow up, the value system is already embedded, and they will implement that in whatever position or place they are in. So that is, I think, the first and foremost thing for all of us to adapt or accept and make sure that it is implemented. Secondly, I think that having exotic pets or not, I don't think that is the change factor, because even in the US, people do. There are instances where there is abuse, and the sanctuary that we had when we were in Florida, that we were taking care of, it's basically where they used to take out exotic animals from people who had them, and if they were not being treated, because it's not legal to have tigers at homes actually, but a lot of people illegally would, and they would be seized and then put in sanctuaries. In India, I don't think it's a right, because considering the kind of population we have and the kind of infrastructure we have, I don't think exotic pets is the way to go, but definitely making sure that whatever pet you have or don't have, if you can even take care of an animal on the street, I think that is good enough, and that will definitely create or recharge the society in a much more better way. And like Dr. Bose mentioned some of the stories from Vienna, I would like to mention stories, incidents that have been part of my life. I live in a dog house. In fact, my home, I've taken in a lot of street dogs. I live with them, and to tell you very honestly, my sanity. And when people talk of depression, when people talk about going through bad phases in their life, they are unconditionally there for you. They do not look for your wealth or looks or fame or game. Nothing. It's you. They love you unconditionally. And like you mentioned a story about how the dog understands feelings. Oh, it's unbelievable how they look at you. They actually sense what's coming in a lot of ways. And one of my mother's friends had a very, I would say, heartfelt incident that he told me. He had left his mother in a farm in Gurugram, and he was traveling. He travels most of the time. And in the night, snakes, poisonous snakes came into the farm. And apparently, the pet dog fought the snakes and saved the mother. But in the process, the dog died. And my mom's friend, when he came here, he was telling us that the dog did what he couldn't. He saved, giving up its own life for his mother. And this is how they are. They will die for you. And they don't care if you give them anything. All they want is your love and affection. And over the years, even for children, I've seen, I work a lot with special children, and I've seen the best thing for children is to have a dog, especially special children. They communicate and they relate and they get maximum support from dogs. And in most organizations, they say to have a pet dog around, or to have animals, whether it's a cat, a dog, it is actually a comfort factor. In fact, in the US, you see comfort animals, you're allowed to take them with you everywhere, because for people who have issues with, stress or fear or even depression, they say that having a dog with them is something that can protect and ensure their sanity and stability. So in a lot of ways, it is important. And we've seen them come as, dogs save lives. They are the ones for police force. They are there for, rescue. They're there for the bomb squad. So we've seen their use and how they can be integral in not just being a loving and caring part of your family, but they're also a huge and integral and important part of our community and society. And as we know, cows, we already do value. We have, we worship them. But on the other hand, I took a stand to never use leather and never, take undue, we don't need to. Why be cruel? Why inflict pain on something to, for our vanity purposes? So I don't use fur. I don't use leather. And these are things, simple little things that can make a huge difference. And if these values, like Dr. Bose said, can be imparted in the young as they are in school, it goes a long way. I think that's the way we really have to start. With the foundation, with the basic, start when they are children, to teach them, to make sure they understand to be a good human being is not just being good to human beings, but to our animals as well. It's equally, and the environment. So I think it's to learn to be careful and caring all around. That's what we have to teach children.
Thank you, Dr. Joan. And what Dr. Joan says, that it is not that you should have the exotic pets at your place in India because of the population. But even if what pet we have or we don't have, we should, if we start taking care, then definitely our animals can survive properly. And she mentioned about Dr. Bose. She says what Dr. Bose has mentioned about the curriculum. Yes, this is a great idea. If we will impart the knowledge or the information to the children in the in the early stage, then the child will definitely start taking care of the animals. And she says the animals are the most faithful. She has given the incident of one the dog, how the dog saved the life of the lady by killing the poisonous snake. So she says that we must behave properly, humanly, with the animals also. Then only we can say that we are animal loving society. Dr. Bose, everybody is mentioning something about that Yudhishthir and the dog and other things. Can you just tell us what is the animal's position in literature and ethology? because now, although in COVID time, we are discussing this. Earlier, we were not discussing. There were some problems in a few of the states where the cow protection, because there is a legislation that you cannot kill any cow. So the problem which the farmers have started facing was that those cows which are not giving milk, what to do with them. So keeping in mind of that and the COVID-19, what is the position in literature and ethology? Dr. Bose, please.
You see, when we speak about cow protection, normally it is misinterpreted as a kind of a chauvinistic assertion by certain religious communities in India. May I make it clear? The cow is revered, not only in the Indian mythology. The cow is revered in the Bible as well. In the Bible, King Pharaoh has a dream. 7 fat cows emerge from the Nile, followed by 7 lean cows. The lean cows swallow the fat cows. Pharaoh was flabbergasted. He consulted all his ministers. They gave opinions which would be pleasing to him. Joseph, who was in the prison at that time, he interpreted the 7 fat cows represent 7 years of prosperity. The 7 lean cows represent 7 years of famine. The wise Pharaoh, taking a cue from the cow, he appointed Joseph as his minister. Joseph took steps. Buffer stock was built up. When the neighboring countries were reeling under famine, the granaries of Egypt was overflowing. Where did the king get this message? That to be forewarned is to be forearmed. He got it from the cow. Therefore, please don't give any particular religion to a cow. The cow is a part and parcel of our life. You know, the cow represents prosperity. The cow represents sustainability. The cow represents affection. Why I'm saying this? The first king of the earth was Prithu. Prithu sees that somebody has taken all the resources of earth and ran away. He, being the king, chased the intruder, the fugitive, and was about to throw his arrow on it. Then he found it was Mother Earth in the form of a cow who had fled with all the resources of the earth. When the king was in an attacking mood, the cow stopped, turned back and smiled and told him gently, I have everything in my udders for you. Your food, your medicine, everything I have in my udders. But milk me gently. Milk me gently. Even today, isn't it the best example of nature protection? As Gandhiji said, the earth has everything for man's needs, but not his greed. We should also realize we have not inherited this world, this universe from our forefathers. We have borrowed it from our children. What we have borrowed, we should have the decency to pay it back. Therefore, this denigration of the cow as a symbol of some myopic vision of a particular religion, totally wrong, biased. Now, in literature, yes, literature is replete with anecdotes and tales, and in many places has the cow or the other animals as heroes. It is not time for us to forget. It's a 3-headed dog, furious dog, which guards the gates of hell, Hades, Cerberus, 3-headed dog. This 3-headed dog was not only for its ferocity, but it could enjoy music. When Orpheus came in search of Eurydice, his wife, who died, was in the netherworld, he played on his lyre, and this ferocious dog listened with rapt attention. That is, here is a sensitive dog who can enjoy music. And secondly, as per the Indian mythology, who introduced agriculture on the earth? She came from heaven. It's a bird. It's a bird, Annam Churukali. The bird was given each god gave one seed or something connected with agriculture to her. And finally, Lord Shiva is the Lord of destruction, not preservation. Even he was pleased with that. He asked the bird, take 2 oxes also for this. See, what a noble thought. Agriculture was introduced in the world by a bird. And there is another case of a bird. There was a small bird, a nightingale type of bird. There is another creature in the forest, very arrogant. It's a puny creature. It's called Angula. Angula is also Sanskrit word for small measurement, very small measurement. This young Angula, the creature, the worm, arrogant person, he will ridicule all the other animals. He will measure them and ridicule the, tiger, the lion, and he measured the small nightingale and started laughing at her. You're only 1 angle long and half an angle wide. She felt very bad. She started singing in full-throated ease. All the animals and birds, everybody stands still, listening to the heavenly music. After the music is done, this bird is asking Angula, that arrogant worm, can you measure my music? If so, please do. There are characters umpteen in mythology, and also rat. We all worship the rat because it's Ganesha's vehicle. But once the rat thought, why should everybody respect Ganesha? If he wants to move, he should depend on me. Why all these gold ornaments on him? Why not on me? So one night, when everybody was sleeping, the pujari had gone. The rat took all the ornaments of Lord Ganesha and donned it on him. And he felt, I am now equal to Lord Ganesha. Early morning, a cat came. Because of the weight of the gold, the rat could not move on. Then, there is yet another rat and cat in literature. Once God asked the rats, what boon do you want? The rats had seen the television advertisement. So they said, please give us what is that? That wheeler thing? Wheelchair, not wheelchair. See that moving thing on which children normally go?
A pram? A pram? A tricycle?
Yeah, not tricycle. Okay, whatever it is. Okay, let a tricycle. Yeah. So God granted a tricycle because these people thought, rats thought we can run away from the cats if we have this vehicle with us. The next month, God asked the cats, what boon do you need? They said, we don't need any boon. The boon that was given last time, that was itself is enough. What is that boon which I gave you? Now you see, our food is coming on a tricycle to us. So, that is what happens. Animals are interesting creatures in mythology, in literature, and now, even in politics. Even in politics. During the heydays of the Cold War, Khrushchev visited America. Kennedy was the president. Now, Khrushchev had a dog with him. That dog is given the position of a colonel. See, in the USSR, the prime minister's dog has the rank of a colonel. People salute it. If a better ration is there, there are a lot of soldiers willing to do its bid. And the dog of the president of America, that dog felt belittled. I am not given any of these privileges here in this democratic country. Why? But when they are about to leave after the visit, the Russian dog came and asked the American dog, brother, will you permit me to live on in US? And the US dog asked, why? In USSR, in Russia, you are a colonel. You have got a special ration, people to attend on you. Then why? The cryptic reply given by the Russian dog is, but I want to bark. I want to bark. Leave the animals to live their instinct of life instead of training them. And we train the dogs and we train and train and train them as if they are going to appear for the IB examination. They live by instinct.
Yes.
Don't hamper the instinct. We also need people, we also need animals to live by instinct. And why do you assume that their instincts are all wrong? No. I have one personal tale to narrate. We had a cow in our house. That cow was so fond of my grandmother. We used to say they are almost like friends. That cow is not there, long time back. My granny is also not there. Once when we had a get-together in our family, a newspaper was shown in which the ghastly, depressing sight of a cow on a truck. See, the cows are taken for slaughter. The cows are tied to a feather inside. But one cow was hanging outside, tethered inside, but hanging outside with the bulging eyes. Very pathetic sight. My brother said, this cow looks like our cow. Just a nostalgic memory. And then I said, what horrible thing they are doing. Then he said, where are the authorities? What are they doing? Are they sleeping? Suddenly it dawned on me. I was the authority. I was the principal secretary, animal husbandry. I was guilty. I suddenly rang my officers, the collectors, the SPs, and told them, arrest them. They were arrested. That was perhaps the first arrest in recent times for atrocities against a cow. I think maybe that is my thanksgiving to Mother Earth. That is my thanksgiving to Mother Cow. That is my thanksgiving to the cow in the Bible. Never ever treat animals or brutes. As Shakespeare said, reason has fled to brutish beasts and men have lost their reason. Isn't it? In our animal care, reason has fled to brutish beasts and men have lost their reason. I think history, literature, mythology is all replete with the tales of animals who did great things. Great things. Do you know Antiochus? Antiochus in the battle. Antiochus was overpowered by the enemy. The enemy mounted Antiochus' horse. It knew it is somebody else who is now master. Do you know what the mute creature Antiochus' horse did? Antiochus' horse ran, galloped with the enemy on top of it. Then it jumped on a precipice. The horse died along with the new rider also died. So never treat animals as contemptuous beings. We are all animals. See, when the first man, the caveman was there any kindergarten to teach them? They lived along with the animals. Even now the tribals live along with the animals. So let us can go back with the animals. And now, if we have one more minute, the animal farm. George Orwell's Animal Farm. Once upon a time, long ago, there was a man, farmer who had a very prosperous animal farm. The animals once found we are being exploited. So animals joined together. And they said, now you have no place here. The animal republic is born. Every republic needs a president, a king, isn't it? They elected a pig, Napoleon, as a president. Rule number 1, the constitution of the animal republic. Animals will not kill each other. Animals will not drink. Beautiful, beautiful provisions of the constitution. But one day, the animals found from the palace of Napoleon, the new president, drunken revelry is going on. They thought animals will not drink. They went and saw the constitution again. The next day, there is a constitutional amendment. Animals will not drink in excess. In excess. The next day, the donkey which led the rebellion against Napoleon, he was found dead. Animals thought, It is written in the Constitution, animals will not kill each other. Again, a constitutional amendment. Animals will not kill each other without valid reason. Now you tell me, who is a greater politician, a greater poet, a greater guru? Isn't it the animal? Therefore, 3 cheers to the animal kingdom. If I have one more life, I would certainly love to be an animal. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bose. He says that if he will get another life, he want to be animal. And he says 3 cheers to the animal. Due to the paucity of the time, I have to wrap up the show. But before that, I would like to just summarize one thing, that today all the 3 panelists or the 3 guests have mentioned one thing, that civil society should come up. Although they are doing lots of good work, but still more is required. Please feed the pets, please feed the stray dogs. Don't abandon them. After all, they are also living beings. And that is why if we will do this, such type of service, it's a very, very human service which we all should do. Thank you very much. And today's program, which has been live telecasted by V4 News, Global TV, Malnadu TV, News Gaon Se, Samvad Sarokar News, as well as it was shown live on Facebook and YouTube. Our endeavor is to bring every day a new topic. And tomorrow, our topic is healthy diet during COVID-19. And our guests are Dr. Madhu Goyal, bariatric physician, Center for Metabolic Surgery, Mumbai. We have Dr. Prerna Hegde. She is the senior dietitian, KS Hegde Charitable Hospital, Mangalore. We have Miss Amina Malik. She is CMS Wokhard Hospital, Mumbai. Then we have Miss Remya Iyer. She is senior dietitian, NS Cooperative Hospital, Kollam. So please tune in tomorrow on the show, the media conference with Lal Goyal at 10:30 a.m. And one more thing which I repeated here, mentioned yesterday, we are now Gyan Presents, because we want that people should be more aware about the things. Gyan Presents Healthy, Tasty, Easy Recipe, No Sugar, No Oil, by Miss Ruby and Miss Ranu. Learn to cook 3 vegetarian yummy healthy dishes for just ₹200. Cooking classes on Zoom on Saturday, 29th August 2020 at 3:30 p.m. For details, please contact 990-172-8861. I repeat, 990-172-8861. And also Gyan presents Workshop in Professionalism. Yes, Workshop in Professionalism on Zoom on Sunday, August 30th at 12:30 p.m. Registration charges only ₹200. For details, please contact 9844182044. I repeat, 9844182044. Thank you all of our viewers for viewing this program, and thank you very much Mrs. Menka Gandhi, Dr. C.V. Anand Bose, and Dr. Sanjana John for joining us and giving your very, very expert opinion about the COVID-19 impact on animals. And I'm sure our viewers will take the cue from this, and they will definitely be more sensitive with our animals. Thank you all for watching it.
Thank you.